Hi everybody, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host Mark, and this is Whiskey Review number 155, the first of a three-part series on Danish whiskeys and spirits. Bona fide whiskey, a rye, also whiskey, but not a single malt, and finally, a new make. So let's check these out. Now this little selection was sent to me from the fine gentleman at the Sowleg YouTube channel, Sowleg, two Danish gentlemen. They are known as Rene and Jacob, and they run that channel, and they've done the big favor for me anyway of sending me these lovely little gems. Now I'm hoping that I'm going to have a little video from those fine gentlemen from Denmark, so we'll wait and see.
Stauning young rye.
Your plans, just go.
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Renee and Jacob from Sowleg, and we went on location
Yep.
at Stauning Distillery, the distillery that produced the young rye we sent you.
Yep.
So we hope you like it. We're going to see the distillery and learn a little bit more about Stauning.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and to the guys watching, keep watching. Mark knows a lot of stuff, and he's a really nice guy. Yeah. See you, Mark.
See you.
This one is the Stauning Young Rye. Stauning is probably I guess it's the best known and the biggest distillery in Denmark. They really became famous when they ended up with a bit of a investment coming in from Diageo. So that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, let's get this poured. There we are. Okay, now, Stauning. Now this is right from Wikipedia. There should be a Whiskipedia. There probably is one. Okay, Stauning Whiskey is a whiskey distillery in Denmark. It's located in the western part of Jylland, just south of a small village called Stauning. The distillery was founded in May 2005 by 9 Danish whiskey enthusiasts and is the oldest whiskey distillery in the Kingdom of Denmark. The idea was originally to create a whiskey resembling the peated whiskey produced on the Scottish Isle of Islay. The production is done mainly by hand using local grain and water. Everything is produced following the traditional Scottish methods of whiskey production. Okay, anyway, more about that. Jim Murray, the famous whiskey critic, he really loves this distillery and gave their peated first edition 94 out of 100, which is a pretty amazing score. And he called it a superstar whiskey that gives us all a reason to live. So the kind of spirit that makes you glad to be alive. Okay, so let's find out if that's true. So this is a rye. I'm guessing that they have followed the American distinction of what rye means, in that it's at least 51% rye. It may actually be 100, and they may have used some malted rye, and I'm guessing that they did. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, production. This is also very interesting. The founders have chosen to do all parts of the production themselves. The grain is bought locally, and the malting takes place in the form of floor malting in a process that is about a week. After that, the malt is dried in a kiln using hot air blown from below. For it to be a smoky whiskey, when they want to make a smoky whiskey, the grain is dried with warm, smoky air from the burning of peat supplied by a Klosterland museum. So it's Danish peat. Very cool. This takes 2 to 3 days. The grain is then ground, mashed, and set aside for maturation in 3 days. Once this process is done, the wort is first distilled in a 1,000 liter pot still, and afterwards on a 600 liter pot still. That would be the low wines and then the spirit still. Following the double distillation, the new make spirit is ready. The alcohol percent is between 68 and 69, and then diluted to 63.5 before it is put in an oak cask, where it matures for a minimum of 3 years before it is finally bottled as whiskey. When new whiskey is distilled, it is colorless liquid and has only taste and aroma of alcohol and grain. It is from aging in charred oak barrels that whiskey gets its color, complexity, and flavor. Okay. Anyway, check out the website. Also, check out the Wikipedia for that, and I think you will do yourself well with that. The website www.stauningwhiskey.dk. So have a look at that one. Don't forget also to have a look at and subscribe to the Sow Leg YouTube channel, from whence these fine drams came. Okay, on to the nose. Let's have a very short advertisement right here. Welcome back. This is the Stauning Young Rye, the 2015 edition. Young? I guess it's probably 3 years old. Let's find out. What do I smell? Again, very appley. This reminds me a lot of the Calvados that I tried a few months back. 2 months ago? 3 months? 3 months ago? Oh yeah, a very nice appley scent to it. A little bit of rye spice, but it's not overpowering. And the ABV on this one is 50%. This is 50% ABV. The nose does not at all seem like it is overpowering. I could smell this all day. Really lovely nose. When you're smelling, make sure you move the glass around, because your nose doesn't work uniformly. There are parts of your nasal passages that pick up different scents. So roll it around, get your nose in there. Don't be shy. Say, hello, how are you? Fine, thank you. Okay, enough of that. All right. Yeah, a little bit of that minty rye. It's got a really well put together nose. Pretty near flawless. If I were rating the nose, I'd probably give this 23 out of 25. Okay, on to the palate. Let's check out the taste. Cheers, everybody. Oh boy. I can definitely feel that this is 50% now. If you're not used to higher ABV whiskeys, just take a tiny sip and try it neat first. It's pretty much a flavor bomb. Again, apples. This one also has quite a nice quite a nice savory flavor to it. The umami is pretty well established here. So it's got the mint, but it's also got some kind of a beyond nuttiness. Nuttiness doesn't quite describe it. Like if there were sweet mushrooms, this is what I'd be tasting. Maybe, you know, if you're in Denmark and you get a hot dog, you should put some fried onions on top. Fried as in, deep fried as in French fries, as in chips, like little crumbly dried onions on your hot dog. Something kind of like that. There's something meaty going on here. And I have a feeling that this is part of what comes from a smaller still. Smaller stills don't have long necks because they're small, and you're getting a little bit more of that richness from the new make. All right. And as I'm sitting here, the finish is also very interesting. Minutes have passed and I'm tasting that sort of mushroom meatiness, a sweetness like cooked apples. Mintiness is still in my mouth. Not especially dry, in fact. If you bring it to the front of your mouth, you'll notice that dryness. Then you get the flavors coming out all throughout. It's mouth-watering. I feel my salivary glands working here. Had to think of that word for a minute. Interesting. Okay, now, didn't leave myself much here. I don't want to drink it all right now because, number one, I don't want to be totally wasted on Danish liquor, and secondly, I'd like to save a little for another night. Okay, we'll add a little bit of water. I think even though it's a small amount, I can put in a little half teaspoonful. Okay. So they're calling this young rye. It doesn't taste young. It doesn't taste like it's so young that you're going to be turned off by it. So that tells me that they've taken a lot of care in the distillation, and they've also taken a lot of care in the aging, the casking of this whiskey. Okay, we'll have another little short advertisement from the YouTube sponsors here. Welcome back to WhiskyWhistle. This is Stauning Young Rye. Well, with water, I'm getting a little bit more of the mintiness. Apples are still there. Maybe even a hint of peat here. Is this a peated rye to some degree? A little bit of malted rye, I would guess. Interesting. All right. Cheers, everyone. This really brings out the sweetness. It's quite elegant. Very well made. Again, pretty much a flawless mouthfeel, flavor, complexity. It could use more rye oomph to it. I'll let them think of how that might happen. I guess you need to use, maybe check out the variety of rye you're using. Maybe malt less of the rye. Really lovely though. The palate, I'd probably go with about 22 out of 25 for this one. Okay, let's go on to the finish. Well, I've been talking about that already. I've never tried this before, so it just comes out all helter-skelter. You get an overall kind of a warming sort of sense. I've got a little bit of kind of mentholic coming through my nose, my nasal passages. That's the minty aspect, I guess. The whatchamacallit, the savory note, the umami, the sweetness. It's all there. An apple sweetness. Perhaps a little bit of an apple caramel, but then it's also balanced with this sort of mushroomy, sweet mushroom type of a flavor. Well, leave a little drop there. Well, isn't that great? Finish-wise, pretty long finish for a young rye. I don't know how young is, but I think I better go with, let's go with 24. 24, that's a bit high? Yeah, okay. 24 out of 25 for the finish. As far as the, what can I call, the balance of this, it's very well balanced, very well made, well presented, natural, it's local, it hits all the bases there. So I think 24 out of 25 for the balance and presentation is due. So 24, 24, 23, 22, minus 1, minus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 93 out of 100? My goodness. Well, anyway, it's beyond 90. I love this. It's great. Thank you very much to the gentleman at Stauning. Fantastic. 93 out of 100. That's the Danish rye score for Stauning Young Rye. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out the Twitter account at WhiskyWhistle. No E on whiskey, WhiskyWhistle. WhiskyWhistle on Instagram. The YouTube, of course the YouTube channel. There's also the Facebook account. Check out the Facebook page. I try to put in some other content from other people who are blogging, writing, or posting articles. Some cool websites too. So check that out. And of course, subscribe to the Stauning YouTube channel. Check them out. Great guys, very intelligible, awesome accents too. If you like listening to the way people speak English, I love the Danish English accent, not the whiskey accent. I love the Danish English accent. My goodness, can I not speak? It's a little bit late, and I've had a little too much to drink. So, shall we carry on? We're going to carry on. Anyway, for now, take care, and we'll see you very soon.